Well, a very warm welcome to the May edition of our Market Wrap. My name's Simon Pintado from the Buxton Real Estate Group. What a month that it was. While the weather is getting colder, the market certainly isn't. What we found over the month of May was that the stock levels have certainly come off a little bit, but the clearance rates have remained at a steady 73.5% as an average across the month. We did find that due to the lack of stock, there was quite a lot of competition for the properties that were put to auction, as well as the properties that were sold off market or privately. There was certainly a lot of competition around those as well, achieving some wonderful prices for our vendors. There's been a lot going on in the real estate market over the month of May, more so in particular external factors. One, with the election in the US, perhaps if Donald Trump does become potentially the most powerful man in the world, I think that will definitely have an influence on the world market as well as the Australian real estate market as well. There was some things that did pop up. There has been an increase in stamp duty payable for foreign investors. There is a new law coming in as of July 1 for foreign investors as well. To give you a bit more information around that, that basically states that if you are not an Australian citizen and you sell a property that is north of $2 million in Victoria, then you will be charged basically 10% of the sale price unless you apply for an exemption from that. So to make that a little bit more clear, if you sell a property over $2 million in Victoria as of July 1 and you don't have an exemption to say that you are an Australian citizen or a permanent resident, then you will have to withhold 10% of your sale price, and that 10% as a vendor will then go to the ATO. So it's definitely something to note for you as potential vendors. If you do have a high-end property, particularly in the Bentleigh, Ormond, McKinnon or East Bentleigh marketplaces, that is something that you will need to look into. Definitely seek some further advice from your solicitor conveyancer, or you can call me and ask me. Well, some super results over the month of May, certainly some high-end results, and that part of the market in the 3204 and the 3165 postcode definitely hasn't slowed down. There is a massive shortage of stock coming on that is higher end. So therefore, as I mentioned a little bit earlier on in the video, when these properties do come on, they do attract buyers from Brighton, from East Brighton, from Sandringham, Elwood, St Kilda. And these buyers come across Beach side of the highway, and they come over to this side of the highway, and they definitely love properties that we've got that are higher end or perhaps a little bit unique in the marketplace. So to give you a bit of an idea as to some of the higher end sales during the month of May, let's give you a bit of an insight. First one, I auctioned number 69 Lancaster Street in Bentleigh East. It was a 720 square metre block, west facing backyard, neat home. And that sold just after the auction, passed in at 1.52 with two bidders. And we ended up selling that for the full reserve, $1.6 million, which was a fantastic result for those vendors. The next property was number 41 Queen Street in Ormond. That is a street that has had a lot of activity recently. And that was a property that sold for almost the full asking price, $1.69 million as well. Number 3 Brailsford Road in Bentleigh. That was about a 6 or 7 year old Metricon home. That property sold following the auction for $1,745,000 on a 670 odd square metre block. We also had number 7 Creswick Grove in McKinnon. That was probably the sale of the month by way of family homes, aside from the next one, which is just around the corner a week earlier. But that property sold with 11 Buxton staff in attendance at that auction. Absolutely fantastic for those vendors. It's almost like everybody had their own buyer and everybody was working with their own buyer. Sold over a reserve of 1.6 million, and that property sold for 1.71 million, which is a fantastic result again. But this is probably the sale of the month. That was number 4 Clare Street in McKinnon. It was a beautiful Georgian style home, probably one of the most luxurious homes that's hit the market in 2016, and sold in excess of 2.4 million. It actually sold for $2.42 million straight after the auction. So a bit of a trend that we've found over the month of May. While there's more competition, vendors' expectations are still probably a little bit up there in terms of 6 to 12 months ago when the market was a little bit hotter, you might say, and definitely a lot more properties passing in. However, you know, we train for our negotiations 2-3 times a week, and we're managing to put together deals following the auction, whether it's immediately afterwards or whether it's within that week following that auction. So certainly some strength and confidence out there in the marketplace. There is a lot of talk around negative gearing out there in the marketplace should there be a new government elected as of July 2. So I think that's a lot of speculation. A lot of vendors at the moment are talking about this in the marketplace. Do we go and put our properties on the market prior? Do we go and wait and put them on afterwards? I think as a bit of advice, I would be getting some conversations around whether you're going to be putting the property on the market in the next 6 months happening now. I think there is going to be a little bit of uncertainty in the new financial year, and that certainly means for you as a vendor to be going and getting things happening, getting the ball rolling, because we are still putting some deals together off market for properties that aren't even getting a board up. They're just being sold without you even knowing about it. So certainly a good time to be doing that. Get those conversations happening, whether you're looking to do it pre new financial year or whether you're looking to do it in spring or the latter. Obviously, please don't hesitate to give me a call. It's a great time to be doing something. Interest rates are at a record low, 1.75% by the Reserve Bank. And it's certainly something that I think you should be looking at pretty seriously. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next month. My name is Simon Pintado from the Buxton Real Estate Group. Hope you have a great day.